Well, the Congressional Committee investigating the January 6th insurrection has released its final report. The 845-page document goes into painstaking detail, laying out how Donald Trump and his allies tried to overturn the presidential election. It begins with their scheme to pressure state election officials and Vice President Mike Pence to put forward fake slates of electors. When that failed, the report says they encouraged far-right militia members to lead a mob into the Capitol and disrupt the certification of Joe Biden as president. CNN senior legal affairs correspondent Paula Reid is poring over the details and joins us now. Good to see you, Paula. So obviously this report was released overnight, and overall the committee concluded that the insurrection would not have happened without Donald Trump.
That's exactly right. That is their key finding. And then they use this 850-page report to lay out the evidence that they've collected over the past year and a half to support that conclusion. And they are directly attacking his primary defense, which has always been that the former president was just relying on the advice of his attorneys and his advisors. The report begins before Election Day in 2020, and they argue that this false claim that he won, even though he didn't, that it was premeditated. And they present emails from a conservative group urging the president to just declare victory no matter what the outcome of the election was. Then they move into what happened after the election, including this pressure campaign on states, especially states where the former president lost. But they have GOP and Republican-led legislatures, including Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Arizona. This report reveals that the former president and his associates engaged in over 200 attempts to pressure state officials to overturn election results. And the committee lays out how they believe the former president's false claims about election fraud spurred his supporters to the Capitol, where violence, of course, ensued. And then the report gets into detail about what the former president was doing in the White House while the Capitol was under attack. They say he watched it play out on TV. He resisted any calls to call off his supporters, and his own staff members have testified that they were, quote, appalled that while this violence was being carried out, that he was tweeting attacking the former vice president. Now, former President Trump has responded to this. He dismissed it as a witch hunt. That's a common criticism, of course, that he levies against congressional or criminal investigations that he doesn't like. And the committee has recommended that he be barred from office. Now, this isn't the only news we're likely to get from the committee over the next few days and weeks. They're going to continue to release transcripts from interviews they've done with witnesses, many members of the former president's inner circle. Those were all conducted behind closed doors, but they plan to release many of those transcripts going forward. So likely more revelations and more news, but all of this ends up in the hands of special counsel Jack Smith as he contemplates possible criminal charges.
All right, the conclusion of a 17-month investigation. We will see if charges follow. Paula Reid, good to see you there in Christmas red. Merry Christmas to you. Thanks so much.